Hollywood is intense. You don't climb to the top without power, seduction, and a little self-destruction, especially for women. Just ask Maria Schneider. She became a star for her role in Last Tango in Paris, but those scars came at a huge cost. The trauma she experienced, particularly from that infamous butter scene, haunted her for years. Then there's Barbara Payton, who turned seduction into an art on screen, only for her real life to spiral into the chaos she portrayed. Affairs, addiction, and a destroyed career. Her rise was fast, but her fall was even faster. The road to fame in Hollywood is never smooth, and the 20 female actors we're about to look at prove just that. Marilyn Monroe. If headlines could scream, they certainly did in early August 1962, when the world learned that one of Hollywood's brightest stars was gone. At just 36 years old, Marilyn Monroe was found lifeless in the bedroom of her Brentwood, Los Angeles home. Beside her were several bottles of pills, including sedatives, tranquilizers, and sleeping aids, alongside traces of alcohol, champagne, vodka, sherry, and vermouth. In the male-dominated Hollywood system, Marilyn Monroe knew she had to play by the rules to achieve her dreams and not disappoint anyone. She formed strategic relationships with powerful men, including film executive Joseph Schenck and her agent and lover Johnny Hyde, who helped her land contracts and work with top directors. As her career took off, Monroe became a star, but felt stuck, playing shallow roles like gold diggers or eye candy. Wanting more respect and deeper characters, she worked hard to refine her image, learning how to present herself on camera, and even changing her name to Marilyn Monroe. Yet the relentless demands of fame and her quest for validation took a toll on her mental health. Insomnia, depression, and anxiety led her to self-medicate. Over time, her substance use worsened, and she became dependent on barbiturates, amphetamines, and alcohol. Her struggles were compounded by bipolar disorder and physical ailments like endometriosis and gallbladder disease. By 1962, the pressures of Hollywood and her personal battles became overwhelming. Monroe passed away at just 36, with her death linked to an acute barbiturate overdose and officially ruled a probable self-inflicted act. However, Monroe wasn't the only female star whose life was tragically cut short by the pressures of Hollywood. The other star was Judy Garland. On June 22, 1969, Judy Garland's husband, Mickey Deans, broke down the locked bathroom door in their London flat and found her lifeless. The coroner later ruled her death an accidental overdose of barbiturates, a commonly used sleep aid at the time. She was just 47 years old. Judy Garland's death was heartbreaking, but to those who knew her, it wasn't entirely surprising. Her struggles with addiction were no secret, and they had been building for years, starting in a childhood that was anything but ordinary. Born Frances Gumm into a vaudeville family, Judy's life on stage began early, but so did the pressure. Her mother, Ethel, was relentless, pushing Judy to perform at all costs. Pills became a tool, one to energize her for the stage, another to calm her afterward. Judy was just 10 when this routine began. Judy's time in Hollywood, especially under MGM's iron grip, only worsened the problem and greatly contributed to her untimely demise. Unlike many actresses, Judy Garland couldn't easily hide her weight under the bright lights of Hollywood, especially while singing and dancing in revealing costumes. MGM, seeing this as a problem, imposed harsh measures. They put her on a strict diet of chicken soup, black coffee, cigarettes, and pills to suppress her appetite, but it didn't stop there. MGM pushed Judy and other stars to work around the clock, knowing it wasn't sustainable. To keep them going, the studio handed out pills to fight exhaustion. When the stars couldn't take any more, MGM whisked them off to the studio hospital, sedated them with more pills, and gave them just 4 hours of sleep before starting the cycle all over again. It was relentless and inhumane. Years later, when the toll of this grueling regime became evident, MGM distanced itself from Judy. Her weight fluctuations and health struggles led to fewer roles, and after 15 years, the studio terminated her contract. Judy's daughter, Liza Minnelli, reflected on her mother's life with profound insight. "She didn't die from an overdose. I think she just got tired. She lived like a taut wire. I don't think she ever looked for real happiness because she always thought happiness would mean the end." When Judy Garland passed away, it was indeed the end of her deep connection with her audience and the golden era she represented.
Someday soon we all will be together if the fates allow.
Next up, Rooney Mara. While filming The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Rooney Mara stayed completely out of sight. No one spotted her in Stockholm, where the movie was being shot. So when she finally hit the big screen in 2011, everyone was blown away. Rooney went all in for her role as Lisbeth Salander, a brilliant but edgy computer hacker. It must have taken her some time to memorize her lines, but that wasn't all. She completely changed her look to match the character. Lisbeth's grunge style included jet black hair, tattoos, and piercings. To nail the look, Rooney cut her hair, dyed it black, and styled it into a punk-inspired cut. She even bleached her eyebrows and got her nose, eyebrow, and another private area pierced. After filming ended, people were surprised to see that Rooney didn't go back to her usual look. It turned out she stayed in character because she'd already signed on for 2 more movies in the series, The Girl Who Played with Fire and The Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest. If Rooney's transformation surprised you, just wait until you see what's next. Natalie Portman. Natalie Portman has transformed herself in many roles, but nothing was as grueling as her transformation in the role of Black Swan. A year before filming the award-winning movie Black Swan, Natalie Portman underwent an intense workout regimen to achieve the physique of a ballerina. The 5'3" actress shed 20 pounds through a combination of swimming, weight training, exercise sessions, and ballet classes. In total, she spent 5 to 8 hours a day pushing her body to its limits. At the time, Natalie admitted she was mostly eating carrots and almonds while spending up to 8 hours a day rehearsing. The intense physical demands took such a toll on her body that she honestly thought she might not make it.
It's hard, you know. I'm someone who definitely likes to like go home and just be myself and not take work with me. But this one definitely took longer. I was pretty depleted after this film.
Although Natalie's transformation didn't sit well with everyone, she was still widely praised by the public and even took home an award.
And the Oscar goes to Natalie Portman, Black Swan.
But this next actor had a completely different experience. Faye Dunaway. Faye Dunaway was one of the most iconic actresses of her time, sharing the screen with some of Hollywood's biggest stars. She shot to international fame at 26 when Bonnie and Clyde became a massive hit. However, after portraying the legendary Joan Crawford in the 1981 film Mommy Dearest, something changed. People began to view her through the lens of the character she played.
There's a liquor store to the right. Known you know where to find the boys and the booze.
For those who might not know, Mommy Dearest is a biopic based on a best-selling memoir by Joan Crawford's daughter, Christina. The film portrayed Crawford in a very unflattering light, painting her as a tyrannical figure who was as tough on her daughter as she was on everyone else.
Why can't you give me the respect that I'm entitled to? Because I am not one of your fans!
Looking back, Faye admitted she probably should have known better than to take on such a role. But was it just her role in Mommy Dearest that changed how people saw her, or was there more to it? Let us know what you think. For now, let's move on to the next actor, Drew Barrymore. Drew Barrymore's journey in Hollywood began with incredible fame as a child star, thanks to iconic roles like her part in E.T. However, her early years were far from incredible. By the age of 10, Drew had already been introduced to alcohol and drugs, and boy, were those years bad for her. Coming from a family deeply entrenched in the entertainment industry, Drew was surrounded by an adult world of excess and temptation long before she was ready to handle it. It wasn't just fame she had to navigate, it was also the lifestyle. Her troubles quickly escalated, leading her to rehab at the age of 13.
I was in a place for 1.5 years called Van Nuys Psychiatric, and you couldn't mess around in there, and if you did, you would get thrown either in the padded room or get put in stretcher restraints and tied up.
By 14, she made the drastic decision to emancipate herself from her parents. Despite such a challenging start, Drew found a way to turn her life around. She rebuilt her career, becoming not just an accomplished actress, but also a producer and entrepreneur. Luckily, she was able to escape it. Now, unlike Drew, who likely picked up the bad habit from her peers while growing up, this next actor's struggle with substance abuse came from a traumatic experience she faced on set. Maria Schneider. At just 19, French actress Maria Schneider became a Hollywood sensation thanks to her role in the drama Last Tango in Paris, particularly the butter scene, a moment so infamous it haunted her for the rest of her life. The story begins when Italian director Bernardo Bertolucci discovered Maria at 17. Back then, she was just a fresh face with a few minor roles, but Bertolucci saw something in her, or rather, he saw an opportunity. He cast her as Jean, the female lead, opposite Marlon Brando, who was an American cinema legend at the time. You'd think sharing the screen with Brando would be a dream come true. Spoiler, it wasn't. The film was a hit, especially in Europe, where its explicit content caused quite a stir. Bertolucci and Brando walked away with accolades and fat paychecks. And Maria, well, she walked away with trauma. She got famous, sure, but all anyone wanted to talk about was that one scene.
You afraid?
No.
No? You're always afraid.
No, but maybe there's some family secrets inside.
Family secrets?
But the crazy part was that Maria wasn't even told about the scene. Bertolucci later admitted that he and Brando cooked up the idea without informing her. Why? Because they didn't want her to act humiliated and enraged. They wanted her to feel it. In other words, they decided to exploit a 19-year-old on camera for art. Maria complied, but not because she was okay with it. She didn't know she had the right to say no. And what did Bertolucci have to say about this? Oh, he knew she hated him for the rest of her life, but he didn't regret it, not one bit. Because what is the life of a woman compared to a single scene in his movie? Unsurprisingly, the fallout was brutal. Maria spiraled into depression and substance abuse, her life derailed by a scene that wasn't even in the script. While Bertolucci grew richer and more revered, Maria was left to carry the weight of a moment she never agreed to. Next up, we have Carrie Fisher. Do you remember her? Fisher will forever be remembered as Princess Leia, the galaxy's most beloved rebel in Star Wars. But even icons have their battles. Behind the glamour of Leia Organa's fearless image was a woman grappling with overwhelming pressure. Fisher later revealed how the intense spotlight, relentless expectations, and need to embody such an iconic role took a heavy toll on her. Fisher candidly admitted that her substance use was a misguided way of coping with the chaos surrounding her. She faced personal struggles, including bipolar disorder, all while enduring the intense scrutiny that came with being part of one of the most celebrated franchises in cinematic history. To combat her addiction and manage her mental health, Fisher underwent multiple stints in rehab and electroconvulsive therapy. She also relied on medication to address her bipolar disorder. When Fisher passed away, the coroner's report revealed a buildup of fatty tissue in her arteries, a common cause of cardiac arrest, along with traces of drugs in her system. It was a bittersweet reminder of the battle she had been facing. Hope she's in a better place now.
May the Force be with you.
Moving on, Charlize Theron. When it comes to challenging roles and complex characters, Charlize Theron is truly the queen of the screen. Known for her dedication, she's gained weight for her roles in Monster and Tully. The hardest part for me was that I wasn't prepared for how much processed food would affect my mood. I experienced depression for the first time, Charlize admitted. The Tully actress reflected, "What they say about how you are what you eat is absolutely true. I ate like someone who never moved, and I ended up feeling exactly like that."
What did you eat? I ate a lot of everything, but my favorite thing, my drug of choice is potato chips.
She explained how the unhealthy diet left her feeling lethargic and tired all the time, making it incredibly difficult to break out of the cycle. For her role as Megyn Kelly in Bombshell, Charlize relied on prosthetic makeup to perfectly recreate the journalist's look, as their eye shapes were vastly different. Given how current and recognizable Kelly is, getting her appearance just right was crucial. But Charlize didn't stop at the visuals. She also worked with vocal coach Carla Meyer to mimic Megyn's voice, which she found surprisingly intimidating on screen. Charlize credited Meyer as a vital part of her success, recalling that she spent hours listening to her voice and doing her best to perfect it. Next up, Renee Zellweger. Renee Zellweger earned an Oscar nomination for her portrayal of the iconic songstress Judy Garland in Judy. For Renee and director Rupert Gould, authenticity was key to bringing the legendary performer to life. To achieve this, Rupert used live audiences for Renee's musical performances. According to Renee, it was both exhausting and stressful. She admitted that the scene where Judy shows signs of stage fright backstage was very real for her. She was genuinely terrified about performing in front of the crowd. In an interview with Ellen, Renee revealed that the project was so demanding it felt like it aged her. While the makeup team used minimal prosthetics and aging makeup to replicate Judy's appearance, Renee shared an amusing story. By the end of filming, the makeup artist forgot to apply the aging makeup one day, but no one could tell. The exhaustion of the role had naturally mirrored the fatigue Judy experienced during the final year of her life. Renee got so obsessed with the character that she didn't want to stop playing her, even after filming ended. It took her months to get back to feeling like herself again, which really shows how intense Judy Garland's life must have been. But if you think Renee was obsessed, wait until you hear about the next one, Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga's insane commitment to playing Patrizia Reggiani in House of Gucci was next level. She spent not 1, not 2, but 9 whole months speaking in an Italian accent. While it definitely helped her nail the character, it didn't come without its side effects.
I suffer from PTSD. I've never told anyone that before, so here we are.
Once filming wrapped, Gaga confessed to struggling with a bit of psychological difficulty adjusting back to reality. Apparently, staying in character for that long started to mess with her sense of self. Next up, Barbara Payton. Barbara Payton was known for playing seductive, dangerous women on screen, especially in films like Kiss Tomorrow Goodbye. She had a thing for portraying those kinds of roles, powerful, alluring, and a little dangerous. But what's scary is how her personal life started to look a lot like the characters she played. Off-screen, Barbara became entangled in a whirlwind of affairs with producers and co-stars. While navigating this chaotic love life, she also struggled with substance abuse. The combination of these destructive habits eventually took a toll on her career. The same charisma and intensity she brought to her roles in Hollywood seemed to expose her personal life, leading to a tragic downfall. Speaking of tragic downfalls, this next actor came dangerously close to a devastating end after losing herself in the chaos of filming a single movie. Isabelle Adjani. French actor Isabelle Adjani holds the record as the only person in history to win 5 César Awards for acting. She's known for her incredible performances in films like One Deadly Summer, Camille Claudel, La Reine Margot, and Skirt Day. But her most unforgettable role has got to be Possession. Possession is Andrzej Zulawski's 1981 film, where Sam Neill plays Mark, an international spy who separates from his wife Anna, played by Adjani. The breakup pushes Anna into bizarre and terrifying behavior, with Adjani delivering a performance that's impossible to forget, especially her piercing eyes. Many actresses have tried to replicate the intensity she brought to this role, but none have matched her vulnerability. Even Toni Collette, who was outstanding in Hereditary and deserved an Oscar nomination, owes some inspiration to Adjani's groundbreaking performance. The role, however, came at a great cost. The infamous scene where Anna has a terrifying, demonic miscarriage in an underground walkway left Adjani mentally and emotionally drained. While her performance was highly praised, it took her years to recover, and she nearly quit acting altogether. At one point, the strain even drove her to the brink of ending her life. According to the director Zulawski, when Adjani saw the film, she took a shaver with 2 blades and cut her wrist. Thankfully, Zulawski was understanding and took responsibility for not recognizing just how much of a toll the role had taken on Adjani's mental health during filming. While Zulawski might bear some responsibility for Adjani's struggles, it's clear he never intended to cause her harm. Unfortunately, the next actor on this list wasn't so lucky. She endured not only severe injuries, but also trauma under the care of a director who was obsessed with her, forcing her to walk away from Hollywood entirely. Tippi Hedren. The Birds is arguably Alfred Hitchcock's most famous and beloved movie, adapted from Daphne du Maurier's short story. It was designed to be a blood-curdling thriller, but the production was riddled with technical difficulties, one of which nearly left its star, Tippi Hedren, blind. Remember that infamous bird attack scene? Originally, the plan was to use mechanical birds. The studio poured a whopping $200,000 into building them, but after testing, it was clear they just weren't realistic enough. The solution? Real birds. This brought its own set of challenges, but thanks to bird trainer Ray Barrick, the team located a massive rookery in Arizona. Under the cover of night, Barrick and his crew, dressed in black and wearing face paint, used nets to capture tens of thousands of sleeping crows and gulls. In the end, over 25,000 live birds were used in the film. Handling wild animals wasn't exactly a walk in the park. The birds often turned on their handlers, attacking with sharp beaks and claws. "We had about 12 or 13 crew members in the hospital in one day from bites and scratches," he said. "The seagulls would deliberately aim for your eyes. I was bitten near my eyes at least 3 times, and Tippi got a nasty gash above her eye." The dangers didn't end with the birds. Tippi Hedren also faced a psychological battle, stemming from Hitchcock's relentless harassment. As filming progressed, Hedren noticed Hitchcock's behavior becoming increasingly troubling. Hitchcock made her the target of pointed criticism when they were alone, recited dirty limericks to her, and stared at her obsessively. His actions became so blatant that even the cast and crew couldn't ignore it. The trauma forced her to leave Hollywood, thus stopping her from ever reaching stardom. Moving on, we have Chloe Sevigny. In the 2003 film, The Brown Bunny, Chloe Sevigny made headlines for performing an unsimulated oral scene with her co-star and the film's director, Vincent Gallo. The controversial scene caused a media firestorm and was met with overwhelmingly negative reviews from critics. The movie follows Bud Clay, a motorcycle racer, played by Gallo, haunted by the memories of his former lover, Daisy, played by Sevigny. In one of the film's most talked about moments, Daisy performs oral on Bud, a scene that wasn't simulated. The backlash was harsh. Many persons questioned whether Sevigny had been pressured into the act, and rumors swirled that her agency had dropped her because of it, claims that were later debunked, of course. Despite the uproar, Sevigny stood by her decision to take on the scene. The fallout also seeped into her personal life. Sevigny admitted that the film strained some of her relationships, saying, "It hurt me in a lot of ways. Some relationships have had trouble with it. Of course, my mom and I don't talk about it." However, Sevigny believes the controversy may have opened doors for her career. Surprisingly, she received her first studio film offer after The Brown Bunny. Linda Hamilton. Linda Hamilton's portrayal of Sarah Connor in the Terminator franchise is iconic, but the role took a toll on her both physically and mentally. For her role in Terminator 2: Judgment Day, Hamilton underwent intense physical training to transform her body. She trained for 3 hours a day, 6 days a week, and followed a strict non-fat diet. She also underwent judo and heavy-duty military training to prepare for the action scenes. Hamilton's trainer, Anthony Cortez, pushed her to her limits, even yelling at her and throwing tennis balls while she was shooting weapons blindfolded. She admitted that she hated Cortez most of the time. The training paid off, and Hamilton's physical transformation was remarkable. She developed bulging biceps, delineated shoulders, a washboard stomach, and marathoner's legs. Her co-star, Arnold Schwarzenegger, was reportedly thrilled by her new physique. However, the intense training and the demands of the role took a toll on Hamilton's body. After filming Terminator 2, she suffered from depression and experienced mood swings and physical abuse towards her first husband, Bruce Abbott, due to her bipolar disorder. The crazy thing was that Hamilton also suffered permanent hearing damage in one ear during the filming of Terminator 2. Moving on, Jennifer Lawrence. Jennifer Lawrence's performance in Mother remains one of the most intense moments of her career. In Darren Aronofsky's psychological horror film, she plays a young woman who finds herself spiraling into a chaotic nightmare. The role pushed Lawrence to her limits, both emotionally and physically. From the moment the film begins, her character is engulfed in a whirlwind of anxiety, paranoia, and confusion, and Lawrence, too, seemed to lose herself in the madness. At one point, her intensity on set was so consuming that she began hyperventilating, struggling to catch her breath in the middle of scenes that were already heavy with tension, and yeah, it caused her to tear her diaphragm.
It's hard when you summon all of these feelings to just kind of snap out. I've always been fine snapping out of it, but I've never had to go this dark before, so I just kind of lost control of myself, and I tore my diaphragm up.
But the physical toll didn't stop there. The role required Lawrence to endure grueling, physically demanding scenes that included being dragged through the house, which got her injured. The result was a performance that was raw, one that required her to go to extremes in ways few other roles had demanded. Jennifer's acting was extreme, but what Halle Berry did was straight up crazy. Halle Berry took her role as a crack addict in Jungle Fever to the next level by not showering for 14 days to really capture the character's neglect. The decision didn't come without its fallout. Cast and crew were reportedly turned off by the smell, especially considering Halle's previous roles that painted her as the polished, stunning beauty. At one point, Samuel Jackson got a whiff of the smell, but kept things very professional. Despite the discomfort, her commitment paid off big time. It marked a major shift in her career as she stepped away from her pristine image and dove into a much grittier, more complex role. This bold move helped cement her reputation as an actress, willing to tackle challenging, unconventional characters. Speaking of unconventional, Hilary's method of preparing for her role as Brandentina was very unique. Hilary Swank. To prepare for her role as Brandentina, a transgender man, Hilary Swank took an incredibly immersive approach. She lived as a man for a full month, fully embracing the physical and psychological aspects of her character. Swank cut her hair short, bound her chest to mimic male anatomy, and stayed in character even when around her friends and family, ensuring she experienced Brandon's world from a deeply personal perspective. This commitment to authenticity allowed her to deliver a powerful and nuanced performance in Boys Don't Cry, one that earned her an Academy Award. Jennifer Lopez went all in for her role in Hustlers, pushing herself further than most would expect. To master her pole dancing skills, she made sure to keep up with her training, even setting up portable poles in her homes across Miami, Los Angeles, and New York. This way, she could practice wherever she was, making sure her strength and flexibility stayed on point throughout the film's production. Her training was grueling, involving hours of perfecting her technique and building the stamina needed for some of the movie's most physically demanding scenes. It was so tough that she ended up with bruising and chafing in many parts of her body. And that's a wrap, guys. Which actor was most shocking to you? If you enjoyed this video, why not check out these other videos on your screen? See if you like them too.